catch-up stuff. If we want to go chronologically, we could start with...
What if we just did everything in one go and then I'll just split it into randomness for both episodes?
No. We need 2 intros and 2 outros, though.
I'll just cut them.
No.
They're the same. It's the same thing.
We'll just see what happens.
Hi, welcome to the Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee. We kind of have a Mod Podge of stuff for you for the next couple episodes because we just wanted to have some like fun episodes, catch up, kind of take a break from all the knowledge we've been throwing at you because
our brains hurt too.
Our brains hurt too. We want to be a resource for like teaching things and like helping out artists, but also
we got to get them views up, people. We got to get you interested and us to have a good old time.
It's nice to have fun sometimes and just catch up. And I feel like it's good to have like a kind of like share with you when we have fun stuff we've been doing, even if it isn't necessarily like music career stuff. Yeah. Just kind of, it gives perspective on living in Nashville as an independent artist, regardless of if it's not like career things.
Plus, I mean, we have to think I was thinking of like, what is the future of this podcast? Because, well, eventually we're moving studios here, so that'll be fun.
Yay.
And we're eventually like gonna run out of like topics, quote unquote,
of like basic knowledge stuff. Yeah. But like you're always learning in this industry, and obviously as we like go through our careers, and you know what, we might not always be doing the artist thing in our careers. So like there's other things. Yeah.
There's plenty of other things. Like we don't really see ourselves as not doing music in some form in our lives, but like, you know, eventually, like I'm sure whatever happens with our careers, like it might deviate. We might not be doing X, Y, and Z like we have always planned. So it's like, well, what does this podcast look like if we're not doing X, Y, and Z sometimes? So I feel like it's always fun to just throw in other tidbits so that also like it just kind of establishes this podcast as something for music lovers in general.
Yeah. And we got a little bit of everything. I kind of think of how Ladies and Tangents, how they wanted to be like pretty broad because they wanted to just talk about anything and everything with theirs. And yes, we're like kind of niche down to music, but we're kind of just anything and everything music. So it doesn't necessarily have to be music business. And we want to be able to be a podcast that people, like you said, who aren't necessarily in the industry or trying to get in the industry and are just music lovers would be interested in hearing about stuff too. So
yeah,
that's kind of the thought process behind it. But yeah, I guess like our little catch up stuff that we have, you were saying, what did you call it? Broadway adventures or something?
Yes, these are our Broadway adventures.
Maybe
so I'll have a nice, that was
it feels like SpongeBob Rainbow.
Broadway adventures.
Yes. So the last time we recorded, I think we mentioned that we were going out, and so that was the day or the night that we went out was the last time we recorded the last 2 episodes.
Was that when we went out to the pop-up bars?
Yeah, so which
was one of the best pop-up bars that the Fairlane has had. Like every drink was so good. It was all very sweet and fruity, but they were still like good drinks. Like if you like a good cocktail of sorts. Yeah. Yes.
So we went to Fairlane. It's called, what was it called?
I don't know.
It's Snow White
supposed to be Snow White themed, but it felt more fairy tale.
It felt spring court if you like A Court of Thorns and
That's
Roses.
exactly what it felt like. It felt like you stepped into the spring court in a good way.
Fairest of them all.
Yeah.
Is what it was called. And I think it goes through May. I don't remember when in May, but out early enough that if you're in Nashville and want to check it out, you should still have some time if you listen like right away.
And I said, Katie, there's a couple other like spring bloom pop-ups that I didn't know
Fairlane still looks like the most decorated, honestly.
You stepped into a whole nother world when you walked into it. Yeah. But I mean, that's also, I think, just practice of having those pop-up bars and just like
they're
the resources. Like when they do a pop-up bar, they do a pop-up bar. So like
the other ones in the video she sent me felt like they just kind of threw some flowers on some places and called it good. So,
but there's a couple if you would like to do more than just the one, because we just did the one.
We just did the one. And our go-to, like, other two didn't have anything right now, but it was also Chief's like 1 year anniversary of the bar, so we went down to that as well.
We had a whole adventure this day, so let's just talk about that day after because we didn't realize, we knew that there were supposed to be thunderstorms, and this was also the week that those really bad like tornado thunderstorms were rolling in one after the other.
I thought it was gonna be over by Saturday. Same. I thought it was just like all that was left was rain. I didn't think we had any even wind, let alone tornado threats.
Yeah.
And then we were like getting ready to go. I'm like, oh, it does look like it might storm, but like we're just gonna go with it, see what happens. But we went and we ate at 5th and Broadway first.
Yeah.
And then
I love 5th and Broadway.
Yes.
But let me say,
the food court.
When I went down to Atlanta, they have those like food court style things all over the place. And yes, the assembly hall upstairs.
Assembly hall, yeah, that's what it was.
But they have these like, and like it's a bunch of local stuff, and it's so cool. And they put one in Nashville. I'm sure plenty of people have seen it now, called 5th and Broadway. And it's basically just a bunch of local restaurants, like in a big food court style thing. But it's my favorite thing just because there's something for everybody. And we have 3 different food palettes when we go out. Like Katie can eat pretty much everything. I'm sometimes dairy free, but also I don't eat red meat at all. And then our friend Sam is a vegan. So like it just makes it easy. There's no like, is there something everyone can eat? Which isn't a problem, by the way. I don't care if we have to find something, but like it's just a peace of mind of knowing that. And if like one person's feeling hot chicken and another person's feeling pizza and another person's feeling Chinese food, like there's something for everyone in this. But I just love those style things. Like it was my favorite thing. So
yeah, but I know Sammy K's mom was like keeping an eye on the weather for us and had texted about like a tornado warning while we were sitting there.
Well, even Brayden started texting me and was like, I hope you guys are safe. So like we didn't realize it was going to be bad.
We looked at it and we're like, I think we can make it to Chiefs and then just like stay there until it blows over. Yeah. So we did that, and then the sirens went off while we were there.
The second we walked in the door, it started downpouring. Like we just made it, and like everyone starts running in. But and then then I go on. I'm like asking all the bartenders, like, "Hey, what do you know about this 1 year anniversary?"
Yeah, on their socials, they advertised a Cheers at 5:00, and so I had a feeling that Eric Church might be there for the Cheers. That's kind of why I wanted to go at that point.
Well, and in the venue itself, so in Chiefs, there's like the first floor is like a band, and then there's a piano bar, and then the third floor is like an actual venue, like the Ryman setup. It's very cool, but it's very intimate, not as big as the Ryman.
It's a 300-ish capacity.
Yeah. And he had a bunch of like his co-writers in those rounds, like in the round in like the venue.
Songs of Eric Church with I think Jeff Hyde, and I can't remember the other 2 people was what they had for that. So it was all very like Eric Church centered activities and stuff, and they had like customizing merch, like Stitch thing going on the second floor where you could buy bandanas and things and get a customized like lyric or anything on there.
So we're asking all the bartenders, and they're like, it's on the second floor. So we go up and we see a little banner, and then there's like this cart outside with a bunch of cake on it. And this was my favorite part. And so I was like, no one knows on this floor either what this Cheers is about, but there's a cart full of cake. And I said, is that cake for us? And they said, here. So I was like, I think the 1 year anniversary toast is just a piece of cake. And it was the best freaking cake. And we got free cake.
It was free cake.
It was so good.
Yeah. But
what a
sirens were going off.
I was pretty okay.
You could barely hear it over the band, and no one seems to like say anything. So we're like, I guess we'll go to the second floor for this stuff. And then we found that stuff, and we're like, let's just stay away from the windows.
I honestly felt pretty
like
safe
it was okay. There. It's like a brick building. I think it's okay. But the windows, like looking out, you could see when the rain came down so hard and the wind started blowing a lot, where it's like you completely had your view obstructed.
Yeah.
Like it just turned white outside.
But that was
What did
the
the guy
worst of
say,
it.
the musician? He like made a comment about like, oh, do I really want to die with you?
With all you guys, yeah.
I was like, dang, that's not
fair.
a way to get your tips, but
But-
fair.
But that was honestly, once that storm had passed, none of the others were like that. Like, it thunderstormed
just
the
like
rest of the night,
but
but that was like the worst of it, and it was over in like maybe 30 minutes
right.
tops, so
Yeah, and then we went to the Fairlane after that.
yeah, then we braved the storm,
We're
but
like,
we were
okay, I
the
think
smart
we're
ones
good
with
so far.
umbrellas, so it worked. Ugh.
Yeah, but we found out on socials later that they did the cheers on the first floor and not the second. So they did have a cheers, it just we missed it, but we got cake. At one point there was like a lot of security, and so we were like, is this tornado related? Is this like he's about to walk out related? I guess the green room is on that floor. It's supposed to be hidden. It's hidden for me because I don't know where it is, but I guess some people know where it is, but that might have been why, because then he ended up coming later to go to his like venue show and pop up on that, so he might have like had come in at that point,
Two
maybe to
separate
go to the green
times
room.
he came and popped up.
And I heard about that after we had gone to Laney's, and my coworker texted me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because we had gone back to go to the rooftop, try and find a DJ later that night, and I was like, okay, we went twice and we missed him. And then I think it was probably around midnight he ended up on the main stage on the main floor, and that was around the time we got back to your house. So he did pop up to like where general public was, where you didn't have to have a ticket to the venue event.
But we were still out. Like,
So-
we don't know how we missed it twice. Like,
Missed it twice. And the guy that Sam plays with, I think he's the utility player in Adam Warner's band. He was playing on the main stage, so he can say he played with Eric. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I was so upset. But we still had fun. I was just like, we tried so hard, and both times we were there was not when he was there. But I did have fun at Laney's. Laney's was a fun time going to that DJ.
I always loved the DJs
What's his name?
at
DJ?
Laney's.
I think it's Big Red, something like that.
He puts on a show.
He has like
well, I put on a show, but
he has a good mix of like 2000s and like a little older than that too type music, I would say.
he just plays a lot of good
Like,
hits
random.
from every genre, like from
Yeah.
the pop, rap, like clubby kind of songs to like
To the sped up versions of Luke Bryan's songs.
yeah, no, it's so fun, and it's like what I want to go out and dance to when I
Yeah.
like just want to have fun. So that's what I love.
Yeah. I will say
It's like I was back at prom, like going back to like prom, but like make it older is like fun for me to dance.
They
to.
had a band till 10, and then the DJ takes over like right at 10, and the band's like tearing down, and he's already started, which I liked that there wasn't a changeover time, because I was expecting there to be one, but I guess it makes sense that there wasn't. But as soon as they cleared the stage, they're like, all right, everyone can go dance on the stage, and just Alex just jutted up there. I looked over, the security guard was laughing.
Oh,
He
you
saw
don't gotta
it
tell me
happen.
twice that I am dancing here.
Yes. Had a High School Musical moment with a random guy.
I was living my best life.
I had a
main
girl because
character energy.
Sammy and I stayed on the ground for the most part.
Yeah, why didn't you guys come join
I don't think she
me?
wanted to go on the stage, so I was just like, I guess I'll stay down here too. I don't care. I'll go wherever. But I don't know about the higher up part. I wouldn't mind being on the back part of the stage.
I know you
but
guys both got up on there.
we did, and then moved to, I don't know. We're like on the floor, and she's up on the like high part, and this girl comes up to me, and she's like, she's so great. I was just like, okay. Just, yeah, you danced with a lot of random groups of people.
Everyone wanted to dance with me. I was having a great time.
Yeah. The drinks, the frozen daiquiri bar was good too.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was expensive.
You didn't get one.
No.
But our tequila shots were $19.
Yeah, those
So
were
that was
expensive. And that was ridiculous.
Expensive. I don't know if they gave us like top shelf or
No,
if that
it was
was
just
in
Tito's.
general. It was Tito's. I didn't know if you asked for a specific
I
brand.
said, give me 3 tequila shots, and she just poured up 3 Tito's. and-
Okay. I didn't know what brand it was. If she just like was like, you didn't specify, I'm gonna get my money's
Nope,
worth.
it was just Tito's.
Dang. Interesting. It went down smooth, so.
Oh, well, I did ask for it chilled. I don't know if that always makes a difference, but I don't think
know.
it should.
Because I think I said it to someone, and when I was at a round and Sam Farrar was there, I said something about it going down smooth, and she said that sounded like it would be a more expensive one if it was like easy to drink, but
No, it's just because I got him chilled. That's why.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. But the frozen drinks are good. You get to pick whichever alcohol you want with the frozen part, since it's like separate.
Really? Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I thought it was just like these were what was in it, and that's what they were like
No.
advertising. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't exactly know how it worked, so I made Sammy go first. And I'm like, I'll figure it out from what she does. And then I was like, I'll get the same thing. Because it was cherry vodka and a frozen Coke. So, like a frozen cherry Coke. So, that was good. Yeah. But yeah, I think that was it for our April 5th Broadway adventures.
Broadway adventure.
No, I think that was really all of it. I know we went to Jelly Rolls too. When we were on the hunt for a DJ before we ended at Laney's. And
Yeah,
so we went to Jelly Rolls.
We normally don't go to Broadway super early, and we did this time because we were A, trying to beat the storm, and B, that was the time
that
we
was
picked.
good timing with recording, I think, was what it was. So that way she could just meet us right when we got done recording. And
Yeah.
no downtime in between kind of thing.
And so we didn't know what to do, and it was 8 o'clock, and we still had so much like, we gotta have to keep going in us.
Yeah.
Which we don't normally do, because normally it's like 10 o'clock when all the pop-up bars close, and then we're like, okay, time to go home.
Yeah,
Like,
don't think about going to find a DJ, but we were trying, and that's why we went back to Eric Church's, was to see, because their rooftop had a DJ, but it was just like country music, which wasn't what we were looking for at the time. Jelly Rolls was better, but still not quite the vibe.
yeah. Well, and Laney's DJ just didn't start until later than all these other ones were.
Yeah.
But we were on the top of Old Red, and we could see Jelly Roll's like tour. He has like this big skull head that was like swinging
There's one
around
on the main floor too, I noticed when we went back. I went back this past week and saw that there's another one, so there's multiple skulls.
But they're cool, and so I
Yeah.
was like, we gotta go see that.
Yeah, I think we went to Chiefs, and then I was looking up places. It said DJ starts at 9 on Old Red, and it was almost 9, so we're like,
They did not
go
start
over
at
there.
9 if they had a
weren't
DJ
ready
at
yet.
all.
We look over, we're like, I think Jelly Roll has a DJ, let's go there. And then we went there until a little before 10, and then went back to Ladies for the DJ to start there around 10. But yeah, a lot of stairs at Jelly Roll and Ored, because they're taller buildings than like Laney's isn't as tall. So I don't mind their stairs as much, but I like that on the wall in the stairway for Jelly Rolls at one point it says keep going.
I didn't notice, yeah.
I noticed it the second time. I was like, oh, that's good to know. But both of those staircases twice in this month, so because we had dinner at All Red before the concert this past week, so, and they chose the rooftop, and it's like really making me walk all these stairs, have dinner with you, okay? Because there are people waiting for the elevator, and I don't want to ride an elevator with a huge group because I just would rather not be like stuck in a corner. So,
I didn't know they had dinner on the rooftop at Old Red.
I guess they do, because that's where we ate. But this past week, my brother, sister-in-law, and then they each just like picked a friend to come with for a trip to Nashville, because my sister-in-law is a huge fan of Ian Munsick, and he had a show here. I think there's something about like not being able to go to the one that was like close to home, so she was like, let's book a trip to Nashville and go to the show. And so they came here this past like Tuesday, and then they flew out yesterday, Saturday morning. And so I went out with them like 3 nights and went to the concert because Alex was doing pictures for the concert for work.
Yeah.
So she was trying to get me to go to, because she couldn't get me a pass, and I'm like, I'm just gonna buy a ticket. It was like just under $50 for a ticket. So not really a bad price for a show. So I was like, fine, I'll just go and I'll hang out with everyone. So yeah, I got a ticket for that. That was fun. I don't know if you want to share any of your like photo experience stuff with that at all, or
I just don't know if I have anything besides the past, but that was more like they just messed up, and so like I had to wait and get a pass from the tour manager, and I was like, dude, thank you so much, because he got me in right before Charlie Worsham, and I was like, he is my favorite artist of all times. Like, you don't even know. Thank you so much for getting me in before the start of the show.
Yeah, so it was Ian Munsick's like album release show, and then Charlie Worsham and Avery Anna were the openers. So obviously Alex was very excited for Charlie to see him, and he had like lyric sheets that were signed and everything at merch. So that was cool that he got to get one of those.
His merch was the smallest, but it was the mightiest.
It was the mightiest. The guy was like, he's going to be so happy that you bought one of these, because you could tell that just from that comment, like, he probably doesn't sell that much for merch. So he probably knew that. And was like,
Charlie Worsham is one of, like, if you take anything from his show, he is the one of the most talented people in this industry, in this town, that should, by all means, be as big as any of these other guys, and it's just the luck of the draw that it has just never happened for him, and like there's no reason
he just
why.
Collaborates with everyone though.
There is like literally no reason why, and so it's just one of those things that like I don't get it, like and everyone in this town will say that, and it's just like it just never worked out for whatever reason, and it's just one of those luck of the draw kinds of things. And you know, I'm glad he's stuck with it, because there was a point when we were in college that he said he had like lost his publishing deal and his record deal and like everything, and had to basically start from scratch, and like that's really tough, especially like I think at that point, I don't know if he had a family yet, but
he got married when we were in college, because I remember that being a thing.
So it's but like that's tough, especially like when you're trying to support like a family on that end, and now you're like losing your income, and it's just like, what do you do then? So I was just so happy that he has a new album coming out. I'm happy that Ian, like, and he was on big name tours, like it's not like
he's as like openers too? Okay. Yeah.
So it's just like he was on Keith Urban. I mean, he's been on everything since I was in high school, a sophomore in high school. So for the last like 10 years at least, like, and he's been doing it longer than that even, but
right. But he has like, he does a lot of session work. He does a lot of just like hired gun type work of being in other people's bands. He was on the road with Dirk Bentley summer before last, just like in Dirk's band and things. So like he has a lot of work. It's just not necessarily like being an artist.
But I think that's because the artist thing for him hasn't like kicked off. I don't think he wouldn't not be doing that kind of thing still, but like it obviously wouldn't be like his main thing. So it's just one of the, like, he sings really well, he plays really well, he writes incredibly well. Like, it's just one of those things that sometimes you can do everything right, and he's like, he has it, so it's just like there's no reason why it just doesn't stick. So but I was just so happy that I got to photograph him and do that. So
and then you came and joined us, and we were like fairly close to the stage, and you had your arm up and you were singing, and he like looked over. I'm like, there's no one else singing, so I'm pretty sure it was directed at you.
Because I know all of his songs.
So I had a little moment, but came out to later and played just like in Ian's band and did some little solo things and stuff, and he dressed up more for Ian's set than he did for his own.
I know, that was funny.
He did take a while. I think part of it might just be like he's so humble and like unassuming and stuff, and like I don't remember how long it took him in his set to even like introduce himself, because he just kind of like started and never really said his name or anything. It's like, hey, introduce yourself, because not everyone knows you.
I think it wasn't until I came back to where you guys were.
Yeah, so at least 3 or 4 songs in. But yeah, because especially when you're an opening act, you gotta make sure you say your name a little bit because people aren't usually there for the openers. They just happen to listen to you.
Which I hate. I hate
know.
the whole, I'm so happy you came early. No, you
It's
didn't
not
come
early.
early. You came on time.
Yes.
Thank you for caring enough to not. And that's one thing I don't get because all of my people, like, at work and stuff, and, like, when I'm photographing, like, I want to be there at the start. Like, I love a concert, so I'm, like, there at the start, and I'm listening to everybody, and I'm photographing everybody. But when I'm with my team for work, they're like, okay, what time does the artist, like, which is the headliner, come on? And, like, that's normally when they show. I just don't get that. Like, I don't get.
Be there for the whole thing.
I'm, like, they're, like, eating dinner, and it's, like, 9 o'clock, and I'm just, like, we have to go. Like, it stresses me out.
The only time we've done, like, where we're late, not, like...
It also just stresses me out because, like, what if, like, especially as a photographer, and I'm, like, getting there as they're, like, walking on stage.
Right,
I
and
have
if
to
you have
go all the
issues,
way
too.
down to my thing. I just...
How you had an issue with your past, too. You would have missed stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just, like...
But yeah, the only time we've been late was like, I think for Taylor Swift because we got such last minute tickets that we basically missed Gracie Abrams' set for
I forgot
the
we
first
haven't
night.
actually seen Gracie yet.
And then, well, she was playing as we were like walking across the pedestrian bridge and you could hear it, but like we didn't really see her. And then I think did we miss all or most of Carly Pearce's set when she opened for Kenny Chesney because we were getting there as she like was getting on stage?
We were like walking up the actual like thing to the third row, so we heard like half of her set when we were actually out there. But like we heard her entire set. We were just walking up the like 50 things of stairs to get up to the top.
Through security, like as I think Stormy Warren was like introducing her. So that's like the only 2 times I could think of being late because that is late. That is not.
Yeah, there's not an early. There's just a you're late.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Anyways, but what did you think of Avery Anna?
I thought it was interesting that she did so many covers. Like that threw me out a lot. Like she did at least 3 covers.
Did Crazy.
She did Crazy. She did Mama's Broken Heart.
Oh, yeah.
She did another, like, old school cover.
Honestly, kind of didn't even realize.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like she was doing too many covers.
It felt like a lot of covers to me. And she kept saying, like, she kept going back and forth, like, are you guys ready to have a good time? I hope you weren't ready to have a good time because I sing a lot of sad songs. Are you ready to have a good time? It was so back and forth with that. I was like, I don't think your brand is just sad girl songs. I think your originals are, like, half sad girl songs. But, like, you're not doing that because all the covers you're throwing in are, like, these big upbeat songs. So she wasn't my favorite, I'll say. Oh, but okay. Yeah, sorry, Avery, but like
I think she was great though, as performance wise, and like I feel like when you kind of gain your following through TikTok, you don't always transition well into performing live, and I think she had a great stage presence for someone who kind of got her start on TikTok. So
she felt to me a little bit more like I was downtown watching somebody at a bar downtown than I felt like I was at a concert to watch her, to be honest.
Okay. I noticed she didn't sing Break Up Over Breakfast though, and that's like I think that was her last album title, and Kelly Clarkson has covered that song, so I'm like expected that one for sure to be on the set list, and it was not on there.
Well, that's what made me think. I was like, okay, maybe she just only has like 2 singles out and that's it, because I was like, or she's only written like 2 songs, because I was like, why is she
she's been doing so many stuff covers? Since like 2021, I think was when I had to look it up because I was trying to figure out what was like the song that blew up, but it's not necessarily.
My mom only knew the
Mr. Predictable.
Yeah, Mr. Predictable, and she said that was like her newest song, so I was surprised. It's
fairly
that.
New, yeah. I guess Indigo, which is like she's featured on a Sam Barber song, I think is who sings that actually. Yeah, Sam Barber featuring Avery Anna is Indigo, and that's the one she played at the piano. But I looked her up to try and figure out what went viral, and it's not that she necessarily had a song blow up. it was that she, back in like 2021, would just like sit in a bathtub, like no water, fully clothed, just like with the acoustics and stuff, and sing covers. And then people would be like requesting covers, so she would do the reply to the comment, have the comment on the video. And that kind of was how she gained her following. And then she got signed by, I think, Warner because of that follower gain.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't necessarily like a song blew up and then she got signed. It was just like,
because I was waiting to hear something that I felt like I would know, and I felt like I did maybe know one of. Oh, I knew the Narcissist song from TikTok.
I think that's the one that like kind of blew up on TikTok, but she was signed at that point. But it
still wasn't even like her ending song. So it like to me, that's what also felt like, okay, like where was her aha moment? Like that to me, I just didn't have that.
Right. So. And she has like fun ones. I don't know why. Like La Di Da is on her Mood Swings EP, because I was trying to listen to stuff ahead of time just to like remind myself what her songs were. Yeah. And if she wanted like a non-sad girl song original, that would have been one to do. Because that's just like a catchy, literally like the hook is La Di Da Di Da Di Da. Like, but with an actual catchy melody. But yeah, I don't know. I liked her. I think her rasp makes me think of like Brandi Carlile whenever she has like the rasp come into her voice.
Oh really? I
like that she has more of a Brandi Carlile type.
She did
edge to her as opposed to like country pop, just because it's a little different.
And that's what I was expecting. I think was more
women in country.
Pop, yeah.
Like you'd think. I feel like women in country are more country pop a lot of times, and you don't hear as many that go in the country rock as far as like up and coming artists. So I like that she has more of the rock side for her. But yeah, I liked her. I don't. I thought she
just wasn't my cup of tea, which is fine. Like no shade.
I guess I just wasn't expecting much, and so she was like higher than my expectations as far as like stage presence and moving around. And she asked for a cowboy hat from the crowd.
I did see that.
Stuff,
my other thing was it was so hard to photograph her because the outfit that she had, I felt like she could have created some more shapes by like whipping it or something. And so it just flowed very oddly in the photos. And then she held her microphone in a way that and she moved so much and so fast that like getting the angle on her was a little tricky.
Yeah. But that's a photography thing. That's
not, like, that was more probably why I was like, I'm very focused on like, okay, what am I doing? So
yeah. Thoughts on Ian? I'm just literally going down the line.
I was pleasantly surprised with Ian. I don't know a lot. Okay, let me preface by I was there for work first. I don't know pretty much like any of his stuff besides the fact that he sang Espresso on TikTok and that blew up and I was all for that. And that he did like the cowboy, very like Western. Old school Western kind of country. And so I thought it was going to be a very
old school,
slow, mellow kind of vibe, and was pleasantly surprised with how upbeat the whole show was, and didn't mind the little intimate moment in the middle of the show. So
yeah. I feel like I maybe have heard his music a little bit before this week, but then I just like started listening this week to be like, okay, do I want to go to this show? Also was kind of like, it just was kind of a surprise listening to it ahead of time, being like, it just doesn't seem like the type of music that my sister-in-law would like, but that's her favorite artist.
Her whole group knew and they were singing like, along to all the songs. Yeah.
They like have been to several shows and stuff, and I think maybe with Ian, he might be the type of artist that once you see him live, you're a fan. Because
which is one of my favorite shows. Yeah. Like I will like Warren Zevers is probably one of those guys for me where I like didn't have any expectations, but I went for work and I was like, actually, I really like his songs, so I was okay with it. Like,
I was like, they're pretty good, like, ahead of time, and then, like, seeing him live, and I've been listening to his album, like, when I've been driving now, the new one that just came out, just because I was like, okay, the album's out, let me listen to it on the way home, and then when I've driven a couple other times this weekend, I've just put it on, because I think just because of seeing him live and having that connection now, I'm like, okay, I'm a fan now. But
yeah, which is what I think ultimately an artist should do. I think which is obviously hard when you're trying to build a fan base and you're trying to get people into the seats and stuff, and that's what like festivals and those kinds of things makes for a better thing. But that's always why I'm like, just give me a chance, because I promise when you see me perform that I'm gonna do it,
because there's people
like I am on my shit. Like
there's people that like songs can hook you right away first listen, just like on Spotify, but then there's others you have to like see it live to really understand it. And then another group would be like, this isn't an artist, but I think of the first time I listened to the Torture Poets Department, like the first half, like it needed to grow on me. The first listen, I was like, it's not my favorite album, but I still like it. And then
it's my favorite
listening to it more and more, than I've listened to the first half more than the second half of that now.
My first artist that ever did that for me, of like, oh wow, I was a fan from going and listening, was Kip Moore, when he opened for Toby Keith. Way back in 8th grade at the Allentown Fair, and because he was out in the crowds, and like I think it's just when you can really see the passion that these artists have, and like they're doing this because this is their whole world and they love it. And like even going and seeing Kelsey Ballerini not too long ago, I mean I love her music and everything obviously, but like if I wasn't the biggest fan of her, I would have gone to that concert here at Bridgestone and been like, wow, and it just made me fall back in love with her music. Like sometimes it's a little hit and go for me, but like I think it's when you can tell that somebody's fully passionate about what they're doing. And I think she's obviously gone through a lot, and now she's making music, especially again, that she is like putting her whole heart and soul into everything that she does. And like it's just so clearly obvious, and it makes you want to go and support and see them. But yeah, no, Kip Moore was that for me. He was like in the crowds, up on chairs, like doing all this stuff, and like just had so much fun that I was like, I want to go to every concert that he's at. And I've never had a bad Kip Moore concert experience. I haven't been in a long ass time, but
I appreciate the brand consistency that he has with like his like logos and stuff, and like his band has a strict uniform of like matching shirts, bolo ties. We're talking about Ian again, hats. By the way. Ian. And even like his band looks like they're just having the time of their lives on stage.
Oh my god, yes! I've never seen a band have so much fun on stage.
Like
I can't wait to be big enough where I mean, like, you're kind of supposed to even now, but like even just having kind of consistently regular shows with my band people where I can say, look, we're gonna do some moves together, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, because right now I'm just like so like throwing together a band that it's like, okay, here we have 2 days to learn this, just make sure we have the music down, we're good.
I think it's more so right now that it's like neither of us are consistently playing full band shows, so even if it is the same people, a lot of the times it's like you're not playing frequently enough to kind of get that.
They're all so busy with their own music careers that like they're not paying that much attention to like being a utility player for your band specifically, where they're like kind of open to it. I feel like nothing against all of them, like they're great and they perform, but like I don't think that they're thinking about it in that same way. Like so it's like you kind of have to take charge in some way of like making sure that you do those kinds of things, but like also it's just something that not a lot of people do and think about. But they said like even like choreographing, like making like the band members move and like those little things that you see is like all choreographed half the time. But like no, they were choreographed. Like they had little dance moves, they had little formations that they would do. Like it was the best time.
I can't think of his name, but yeah, the utility player, he played fiddle and mandolin for the night, and he was just like dancing while he's playing and like never stopped smiling the whole time. And I was just like, he's having the best time ever. I liked their little fire pit where they like got down to like more stripped down, just like a drum with brushes for the percussion part of it.
And it worked so well with his brand, with being that like country western, like out in the middle. He's from Wyoming or something like that.
I think
that's what I think he said.
I feel like he said Wyoming and Montana, so I got confused of which one was.
Either way, it felt like you were out in the middle of the desert or out up in the middle of the mountains, just like with your buddies, like
Wyoming.
around a campfire. It felt very much like a Wyoming country music boy. Like,
yeah.
My favorite part of the show was when he said something like, "Oh, I love the smell of Wyoming," and I totally randomly, like, had no, again, I have no clue what this man's music is, and I said, "What, does it smell like cow shit?" Like, just jokingly to Katie, and she goes, "That cow shit," and I was like, "How did I guess that this song was about cow shit?" I could, it was just a joke. That was my favorite thing.
And like everyone like knew the song, and it was like a thing for him.
It was my favorite song of the night. Everyone go listen to that song.
It's off of White Buffalo, because I looked it up on the way here, because I was like, where is because it never came up when I like just put his music on shuffle like prior to the show, so it was like I didn't hear that one.
And the fact that is not a TikTok song going viral, like, how? That's so great.
So great.
It's funny. It's like when I was doing TikToks for work with like this stuff, it's like on the list pretty high up if you just type in like Ian Munsick songs, but like I was like, no, we gotta get them streams up, people. It's like the hook is like, I'd rather smell your cow
I'd rather smell cow shit in the morning
than your bullshit.
Then I don't want to say it wrong. Also, like when I listened to it on the way here, like, you catch more lyrics, obviously, the more you listen to something. And it said, like, when you kicked my border collie, that was the last call or something. And I was like, wait a minute, she kicked the dog, not the dog. Where's lyrics, please? I'd rather smell cow shit in the morning than put up with her bullshit every night.
Yeah.
So, like, the morning and night thing, too.
That like, it's such a good hook.
Being there and not knowing much of his music felt like how non-Swifties must feel going to a Taylor Swift concert, because they would start a song and people would get, like, freak out, like, oh my God, this song! And I'm like, what? And I feel like that's how Taylor is, where, like, if you don't know the set list ahead of time and a song starts, you're like, oh, this one, and get excited. And so that's kind of, I felt like an outsider getting to like watch all these people be really excited for an artist they love without like having any type of opinion on my own. So that was just very interesting. And he had, I don't know how to say
I've never
his
thought
name.
of it like that, because I guess you just don't go to a lot of concerts that you're not like interested in the artist.
Right.
And I wouldn't
say I'm not interested.
Well, like
in
that
him.
you just don't know who they were. And I used to work at the Ryman and now doing this, and I go to see artists all the time that I don't know. So I like used to love the expression of people getting so excited for people. And like, I was just an observer. So I used to love that part of it. But also like, I still like never had that exact moment. So
he also had a lot of special guests that popped up because it was the release show for the album.
Which I didn't realize that was why, but it's also that it was the closing night, and I just figured
closing night
was
a tour,
and I knew it was already going to be a special guest thing just because I had the inside scoop.
Yeah.
And I knew there was a bunch of guests at the show.
So God Bless the West, which was like released prior to the album, has, we're gonna see how this is said, Cleto Cordero on it. He came out and he sang with them for that song. Steven Wilson Jr. came out to sing the title track, Eagle Feather. He's not on the album, so that was just kind of like a random thing, unless he's just like not credited as like a featured thing. I guess I could check that, but he co-wrote it.
Oh, okay.
So there we go. And then all last week, like, promoting the album, they kept teasing that Feather in My Hat featuring Lainey Wilson, and that there would be a video out Friday and stuff. And Lainey played at her bar, like, last Sunday, and I was like, she's in town. She doesn't have shows till end of May. It may or may not have been, like, the thing to push me over the edge to buy the ticket that I had a feeling she would show up.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that she did. No, yeah. Especially because she also has a song with Charlie, so I was like, I know that they probably wouldn't have given it away, you know, that she was there, but I was also like, maybe they'd like because I also knew Charlie was going to come back out and do a whole bunch of songs with him because they're like
Yeah.
best friends. So I was
I
like,
also didn't know if Cody
maybe.
Johnson would show up to sing "Long Live Cowgirls" together because they have that song together.
Every
from
time
a
I
different
hear
album.
that, though, I just think of the Morgan Wallen song, and I'm like,
it's better.
Is it
it's
just
fine.
like a country version of that?
No, I like Ian's better anyways. I obviously like got my phone out to record and I was holding an empty beer can. I was like, this isn't gonna work. And I just dropped it. It was like, all right, because everyone's dropping their cans and just like crushing them on the floor, which I don't love doing.
No.
But which is why I was holding an empty one. But I was like, I gotta do this because I gotta get a better handhold on my phone to record. So
I was about to go find her again when it happened. I was like trying to get into position just to get some.
He starts singing
really
a song, and he's like, "This one's off my new album," and all I've heard of it prior on like the socials was the hook, and lyrically it sounded like it was leading towards that type of hook. And so I texted Alex, I think I did ... and then eye emojis because I was like, Lainey, and then I leaned over to my brother who was like, this is the song that Lainey is on, and then she came out. So I was like, it's happening.
Oh, that's what you texted me that. I just saw the eyes and was like, I don't know what she's saying. Okay, bye.
No, I was like, I think Lainey's coming. So, and I think I had Snapchatted you a picture. I'm like, there's a lot of space next to us. Like as long as you can get up to us, there is space once you get up here. And people around us were very nice. Like they were making friends. I wasn't talking as much to the random people as like the rest of the group was.
Oh, I thought they were fighting with them.
No.
Oh.
Well, I think something happened behind us at one point. You weren't there we had like a couple kind of up and to our right, and then like the guy's coworker was off to the left and saw him, and they go up to each other and start yelling at each other, and everyone's like, oh my god, what's happening? And then they realize, oh, they know each other, they're messing around, we're good. It's just, yeah, we were like, is this about to get physical? Like, but yeah, it was interesting. The guys left at one point to get more drinks, and we just like formed a circle of like, these spots are saved, and the people behind us helped with it.
Oh,
so
that's nice. Yeah,
it was very nice.
I used to fight for spots when me and my mom would trade off to go to the bathroom and stuff when I was in high school, and we knew how to.
Yeah, because sometimes you get pits like that where it's like it's hard to keep a spot, and you gotta just like have your legs like a wide stance to keep spots and stuff. But
there was
everyone
plenty
was really
of room
nice here.
in that like space though. Like it was full, but like there was plenty of space in the back that like we all could have taken a big step and just had plenty of room. I mean, people like to be at the front, so like that just never happens. But
I think like, naturally people like kind of move forward a little bit once the headliner starts too, just because excitement, I guess, where they don't even realize that's what they're doing. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I guess my last couple things with the Ian thing was they did like an after party on the lawn outside where he was signing
which
his
first
new
of all
album.
The Pinnacle has the coolest lawn setup for before shows, and like there's food trucks, and I love it. I want to go to more concerts just to go to concerts there. And like it's all like Brooklyn Bowl if you've ever been there in Nashville, but it's bigger, and so and it has like food, and like it's fun. And like even in the venue they have popcorn
bars along the side, so you don't have to like leave the like concert area to get drinks. So if you're worried about missing a song or something, like you can still be in the area while you're ordering. So
and there's plenty of bathrooms. Well. There's bathrooms on either side of the stage, in the front and then in the back, and then like there's plenty of space everywhere. The only thing I don't like is having to go downstairs for merch when you're already upstairs, because the like concert area is on the second floor for some reason. But
but he had an after party to like, you can buy vinyl, CDs, whatever, and get them signed after. It said that he was signing stuff, but on the graphic, it says nothing about, like, you have to have a vinyl to get signed to meet him.
Oh.
So
it was a way to get vinyl sales up.
I guess. It doesn't say that. But, so my sister-in-law and her friend waited in line, got up to the front. Security's like, you have to have a vinyl. He's only signing vinyls. And so they got turned away. But, like, they had seen other people.
Buy him a vinyl right there?
I guess not. But, like, they'd seen other people getting random stuff signed. It wasn't, like, they're the only ones without vinyl in line. And I feel like they should have had someone walking the line, like, letting people know, hey, this is how this works. Like, you have to have a vinyl. I think they mentioned something about like a wristband, like when you bought the vinyl, you get a wristband and all this. Like, no one told them this until they had waited in line for like an hour or something.
That sucks. Yeah.
It made me think of when we went to rep tour, how we were told like, hey, your signs are too big, and then we split ours. We threw one, split one in half. We're like, hey, is this small enough? They're like, yes, and then they still told us that we couldn't take them in.
And yet we saw people with bigger signs than ours and lights and everything in the thing.
Like, once we got in. So, yeah, I think that's just another
I wish we
example of miscommunication.
I wish we would have taken off our headbands when we met her. That was my only thing, but it's okay.
Fine. But yeah, I just think that's like, if you're gonna have some sort of cool meet and greet and stuff,
because like, it really was. I was genuinely like shocked. I was like, wow, he's gonna take the time to meet everybody, and people have been doing that at the Pinnacle lately, just in general. So
yeah, so that was kind of disappointing that they had that happen. Like, there should have been some more communication on that. I think the only other thing was another thing that was like heard while they're out there was someone who was like, that was so weird, he did so many random songs, and they're talking about the cover set, like they thought it was weird, like, why did he sing those? I'm like, you're acting like no artist ever does cover songs in their sets. Like, that's a pretty common thing to do.
Okay, so here's my thing with it, because I think it is so fun and so smart for these, because I've noticed it starting with Jelly Roll, and what Jelly Roll does is he'll do music that inspired me growing up. So he'll do like a couple of like my mom, and I'm sure I've talked about this on here. Like, my mom listened to rock, so it was all like, and then he'll do a medley of rock. And then my brother listened to gangster rap, and then he'll do like a bunch of like Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent and all this stuff, right? And then like, but my music was country, and then he'll play like country and all that stuff. And it's so smart, because not only does it like engage your audience, it like makes them connect with you more, because they're like, oh wow, I have the same music taste as them. Like, it's just like a way for, if anyone in the crowd has been dragged along, like, there's a little something for them, you know?
Yeah.
And he did that first with his band, Ian Munsick did. Like, each one of his band members got to pick a song that like represented them, which was so cool. Like, and then this was like his viral moment, so I knew it was coming. And like, my boss was already telling me, he called it the like women of pop.
Yeah, because it was all female songs too.
But like, that's something that everyone walks away with, is it's a little something different. Like, yeah, you got to see, like, even if it's like your favorite artist, yeah, you got to see your favorite artist perform, but also you got to see them do like these cool
something
things.
Different.
And even Taylor Swift was doing covers up until like the 1989 tour, or like,
I think Reputation. She did covers in rep too. I don't think we got one rep we kind of did, but we got I think we got Better Man for our cover, so it was one she wrote that someone else cut.
And it was like, because they had guests come out, so like, there was your covers. So like, covers can be presented in different ways that make it still feel like, oh well, it's not a cover song, but like, really, most artists at least throw in like a cover song just to like say, hey, this is the kind of music I grew up with. Right. But I think these cool medleys are like really something different and unique that you walk away with. And again, we're all kind of trying to create those viral moments right now at a concert, because that's where the audience is. And Ian Munsick was just so cool, because he also like, seemed like he genuinely enjoyed it. So he was like, it's female beef. Songs.
I don't think they said he said female. It just happened that they're all female. But it was like
songs.
Trying to like battle between two artists, and then he'd like, all right, let's hear it. Like, who wants Britney?
So the first one was Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera, and he sang a little bit of Genie in a Bottle and a little bit of Toxic. Right? Yeah. And then it was,
I think it was Katy Perry and Taylor.
Yes, next. It was. So there was Teenage Dream or You Belong With Me. And then
he's like, Taylor always wins.
Yeah. And then it was Sabrina Carpenter, and he sings Espresso, and then Camila Cabello, Havana.
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing to do, especially at the end of the show. Like, everyone's like, yeah,
get, you know, you're about to play. In time for the ending.
Yeah, you're about to play your last couple songs, which you already know are going to be like the fan favorites. But it's just a way to like re-engage everybody. Like, hey, We're almost over. Let's rally up because this is the best part of the show. Like, it's just something fun. Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter does it. And those were her viral moments.
Jordan Davis, he did like how did he phrase it? Like a mixtape of what he grew up listening to kind of thing. And then the graphics on the screen like did like a track list of the mixtape. Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter did the spin the bottle for each song, Her Nights. Like, that was something different. It's just like, and I just like that we're presenting it in a way that still incorporates it into the show. And it's something different than just like throwing a cover song in there. Yeah. And it's just so cool. Like, I love it. Like,
yeah, it's fun. So I'm confused. Deandra's confused too. Like, why is she questioning that they're covers? What do you mean random songs? Like, yeah. So that was just kind of a funny little thing she overheard and told me about. But yeah, I think that's it for the concert and stuff. Did you listen to the album at all? Okay. It's like 20 songs. It's like a long-ish album. I think it's like an hour and 4 minutes. It's 20 songs, but there's 3 Prairie Lament 1, Prairie Lament 2, Prairie Lament 3, like little things that kind of are transitions, like I guess, interludes. So they're not all like songs, but yeah, I think it's good. I like it. I think it's pretty cohesive as far as like going from one song to the next. It makes sense and it blends really well. There's not anything that's like jarring contrast or anything. So yeah, I think it's a good album. But that's all I really had for that. Unless you have any other thoughts on anything. We're kind of going longer than we thought we might talk about our catch-up stuff. So, what have you been up to lately? Have any fun stories to share? You can send them to the Music Lens Podcast at gmail.com. If you have any thoughts and comments that you want to send via comments, that works too. So comment on this YouTube video or comment on our socials at the Music Lens Podcast and follow us there while you're at it. Also, be sure to rate and review our episodes because that helps us with the algorithm and getting us to new listeners. You can follow Alex at Alex Allegra Music and pre-save her song Ego because that comes out May 9th. So that's coming up here quick.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you can follow me at Katie Fee Music and I'll have stuff sometime soon-ish as well, so keep an eye out for that, and we'll see you next time. Bye.